Hello, hello, I'm here. Sorry. Let's just jump right into it. I got distracted. Making extraordinarily degenerate. No, that's the wrong word. Extraordinarily boring sandwiches. Well, 2 sandwiches. Well, 4 slices of bread. So 2 sandwiches, but I did just fold each slice of bread in half and stick a slice of cheese and deli sliced chicken. So it's not degenerate per se, but it's definitely not a good meal. Very filling though. Very filling. Anyways, let's get started. Put this here. Plug this in. Finally made my way through this just absolutely disgusting bottle of hot sauce, by the way. It's like a sweet and sour sauce, but really, really spicy. But the sweet and sour taste is kind of vile because like it's completely contaminated. Like I think it's a habanero. Habanero, not habanero, habanero. But it just does not go well with the sweet and sour taste, so it's like kind of bitter. I'm not sure how that happens. Like how do you get to like a product that exists on shelves, you know what I'm saying? It boggles the mind, or at least my mind. All right, let's see. Hold on, I'm still getting set up. But I came back. I was just eating and browsing Reddit. I was like, oh no, I've been live for nearly 10 minutes. Can't do that. I mean, I can, but I'm not going to. I usually try to keep my kind of downtime to about 5 minutes, or like the stream startup time is a better word for it. Where are this? I've stopped watching YouTube videos in the background, by the way. I've just gone back to listening to music, which is what I used to do before I did all the entire streaming thing. Just listen through a bunch of albums, you know what I'm saying? All right, now we're back. But actually, that's not true. Really quick. Did you know that I have a YouTube channel that I don't use whatsoever? But I do upload most of my VODs there. What was the last VOD I uploaded? There's a Godot showreel, which has a decent amount of views for whatever reason. Probably because like Godot contributors are looking at it. I think that makes sense. So May 17th, May 31st, June 7th, June 8th, June 8th, June 9th is possibly the last one. It's weird how Twitch does all the uploads. Man, I have not uploaded a VOD in forever. June 9th is the last one. But somewhat annoyingly, you cannot bulk export VODs to YouTube. You have to do it individually, one by one. So let's do that really quick. And just absolutely kill the pace of the stream. But it's already been killed, so that's fine. What was this? This was June 15th. June, that's not how you spell it. June 15th, 2022, public. Really quickly. Really shouldn't be doing this live, but you know how it goes. I got nothing to hide. June 16th, 2022, public. No tags. I think there is a bug on Twitch's back end though, where sometimes they'll just publish videos twice to YouTube when I do bulk exports like this. Because actually in the contract you have to sign with Twitch. It means they have exclusive rights to your VOD for like 24 hours after your stream, something like that. So you can't just, you know, export to YouTube after every single stream. I mean, if you have been doing that, I guess you could. If you're a bigger channel, I guess they might actually crack down on that. 22nd, 28th. Man, I skipped a lot of days, huh? I think I did it on the wrong one as well. We'll figure it out. July 3rd. Usually when I'm doing this in my off time, let's do July. I say it out loud so I don't get it mixed up. July 3rd, July 17th. Man, that was a big gap. July 17th, 2022. Really quick. July 19th. I'm sure there's a way to like script this, but so it goes. July 21st. July 27th. Yeah, my streams have definitely become a lot more spaced out recently. And that's because work has been stressful, and I've, you know, just been in a... Oh, I can't break. can't send this one. Work has been more stressful recently, and also, just not feeling the entire streaming thing recently for whatever reason. Well, not feeling the entire streaming thing, and also because I don't like to... I also did not want to work on anything. Like, there's still a ton of stuff I have on my backlog. Alright, like I still need to test a few PRs. I need to respond to all the random PRs people have been sending me as well, and like find a nice way to reject them. Anyways, check this out. This is this is the little thingamajig that I've been writing to patch a clean installation of Godot. So it's like I don't really need to maintain my own fork with Godot. Like, this is the idea, right? Is that I acknowledge that it's inconvenient. Let me see if my bot's up. My bot is up. It's inconvenient to maintain my own fork with Godot. Let me see if I can find it. Ignore that. It's inconvenient to maintain my own fork of Godot. So what's slightly better is to just have, and actually you can find this script in here as well, apply modules.py. But here, the script is slightly different. I've been cleaning it up. But basically, you take whatever is the latest, I guess, target branch. So for Godot, I usually try to target 3.x, because that's, well, not 3.x, but I merge in like from 3.5 or 3.4, whatever the latest is. I don't actually target 3.x because that's the latest 3x version, which is equivalent to master. So you never want to, you know, go off of master, because master should be the latest and greatest changes, depending on, you know, your team's workflow and et cetera, et cetera. Like it used to be on one of my projects, the tech lead had master be our staple branch. And I was like, I guess if you want. And then we had an explicit dev branch, which makes sense, right? But for me, master is unstable. And then if you have a specific, you know, stable point, you should tag it instead, which cuts down on the amount of garbage in your Git history. Anyways, now with this script here, which is also present here, I no longer need to really maintain my own fork of Godot. All I need to do is have a file called modulesfile.txt, something like this. And all it does is it specifies modules to pull into Godot. And then if you were to go to any of these modules, so we can look at, let's look at this one. That's not how this works. Go to here. How convenient that it redirects you to, if you type in the HTTPS gets URL, it actually redirects you back to the repository, which is nice. I like that. It's a good feature. But yeah, so here we have modules, this one's kind of boring because all it does is just copies the module, right? But this one's slightly more complicated, right? So now we have modules, Ruby GD, and then we also have third-party mruby. And then this also does not specify any like setup stuff, so I guess I should probably do that. Maybe have like a setup.py, even though that's not really what a setup.py does. But this is supposed to help with CI. Ideally it helps with CI. Because I also don't include mruby here. I specify that you need to go out and grab it yourself anyways, right? So if we're already, grabbing it ourselves, might as well, right? But this is part of the CI work. I'm still trying to test it. I was kind of poking at it earlier. So here we just do Python apply modules.py because I'm pretty sure Python doesn't actually exist on my env. It might. I see that I have a Ruby thing, and there's an Erlang thing somewhere as well. I saw, right? So if we env grep Erlang, yeah, there's Erlang. Is there a Python? I've never checked. No, there is. I don't have Python on my path, which is why I actually have to specify Python when I run the scripts myself. But I think there is Ruby on my path. Why isn't Python on my path? No, there's no Ruby on my path. Okay. Why is Erlang on my path? Like, I have Elixir installed, but I don't really write any Elixir. I'm not very good at Elixir. Oh, and this is also Godot 4. Let me see. But I think the CLI is pretty clean. Well, clean enough anyways. Oh, you know what? My path. Okay, hold on. So we echo... It's not my env, it's supposed to be my path. But actually, no, that's what the shebang is supposed to do, right? User bin env, and then env gives you access to Python somewhere. Isn't that how that's supposed to work on an actual Unix system? Sure. I think Python's on, yeah, I mean, obviously Python's on my path, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this. I'm running Python 3.9 for whatever reason. Let me see. Godot directory. How do I find the Godot directory? Args, Godot. If not, Godot directory is none else this thing. Okay, I think that makes sense. So then we can actually use the args parameter here for clean. And then similarly, we'll do the same thing here. So it's just an inline if else. Where is it? This thing. I think that makes sense, right? And we can have a separate parser here. So that's a clean parser, the apply parser. Let's add a region. I'm going to break this out into its own file. So region, apply. Well, not yet, but we will. Clean There we go. And then I guess we'll just have debug, maybe. So do these region, oh, these region directives do not apply. Oh, okay, well, that's unfortunate, whatever. It's because of the formatter. The formatter is freaking out. But I don't really know how to make it play nice. What's the formatter I'm using? I think I'm just using like PEP8 or whatever the PEP8 formatter is called. I know some people like to use black instead. Not familiar with it though. I think black is more strict on formatting than whatever it is, like auto PEP8. Is it called auto PEP8? Which VNV am I in? There's a VNV. Oh, and it's like hidden as well, which is really cool. Source, venv, scripts, activate. So pip list. What do we got? Yeah, auto PEP8. I know things. Add parser. Help. Show debug information. So this is the kind of thing that I need tooling for my tooling, which is becoming a problem. Debug parser. And there's not really anything else there, yeah. That's it, really. Add parser, and then I can set, yeah, okay. That's how I did it. I think you can actually set func in the add parser, right? Is that not true in argparse? Normally I would try to do this in a compiled language, but distributing a binary is kind of a pain. And you need Python anyways to build Godot, so I might as well, you know, take advantage of it. All right, so the argument parser, can't you add a func? Or is that not true? Or can you only add a func in set? No, add parser gives you a no, this is the, right? No? Yeah. No, yeah, this is the argument parser object. Right. And then this gives you Oh, these are all the params. I don't care about the params. Where's subparser? The add argument, sure, but where's subparser? Parse args, subcommands, yeah. Oh, hello. Param me? No, you're parameterless. That was supposed to be like a maidenless joke, but I realized I haven't played Elden Ring on stream. And I also have not played Elden Ring in a while. So I completely forgot what the quote was. But I followed through anyway, against my better judgments. Add parser. What does add parser do? Add parser. Where is add parser? That's why I don't like Python. What quargs do you take? Yeah, what I'm working on, Anwa, and how are you, by the way? Is I'm working on tooling, so I don't need to maintain my own fork of Godot anymore, because I do maintain my own fork of Godot, but it's kind of a pain, if you can believe that. So instead, I've been very slowly building up this thing, little Python scripts. So if you have a clean Godot installation, or not a clean Godot installation, a clean copy of the Godot source code, all you need to do is run this apply modules script, feed in a modules file.txt, or whatever you want to call it, really. And then it will apply everything as expected. So it'll grab Ruby GD, copy this where it should be, third party. That's not actually quite true because this one does require a few extra steps, but I'm working on it. And then it will apply any patches that may or may not be there. So for spout GD, this requires some patches to Godot here. I think some people call it a diff as well. I like to call it a patch because it's meant to be used as a patch. Oh, this will be really handy. Oh, hello, Demuriel. Do you go by Demuriel, or do you want me to use your Discord name? Yeah, so I've been using this from my local builds, but it's very prone to breaking. So I've been trying to refactor it. And also, I'm looking at the wrong build of Godot, because this is actually Godot 4. Godot 4 does things kind of strangely, because I don't really know what module initialization level means, because I don't see any module. I looked through a few modules, and almost all of them have this included. But if you don't include this, I think it just uses the default, and then things initialize too early, but I don't really understand when you would use a different initialization level for the C++ stuff. Yeah. Basically, grab a whatever. Grab a fresh copy of the Godot source, run this, pass in the modules.txt thing, and then CI should pass pretty easily with very little maintenance on my part. Hopefully. Wouldn't do it for Godot 4 anyway, rather than doing 3 and 4. Well, they actually, it's the same thing. Right? The process for doing this stuff for Godot in 3 and 4 is the same. Will it work for idiots? Maybe. I mean, it's pretty nice in my opinion. So if you look here, Python apply. So it uses argparse. Argparse is probably one of my favorite libraries for Python. If you're making tool scripts, if you're trying to like do some runtimes or like boot scripts, you should not do it in Python because it's too slow. But for little utility scripts like this, you get a really nice, you know, ignore this part. This is just some debug logging, but you get usage. You get the help arguments, and it's really easy for me to do because you just define everything here. I'm a soap. Soap, just the absolutely cursed data transport formats. I've had to work extensively with soap over the years. And it wasn't even like actual like soap data. The data was given to me in SOAP, but then I had to respond in JSON for whatever reason. That's something I still don't really understand, but you know, so it goes. Debug. No, don't import this. Sweet mouse. It's actually a chinchilla, thank you very much. Please respect its species. Wait, you know, this just occurred to me. Is it, what's the singular form of species? Just species? Speech? I know, you know, I've never really thought about it. Because it's plural by default. It's not like a fishes kind of thing, right? Because you can eat fish, you can eat a lot of fishes, maybe. But your species, but it's species. It's species. Is species singular with an S at the end? Talking about menu, I don't go right up big enough. Yeah, it is some sort of rodent. This is true. All right. Anyways, this is it. This is all it will do. Is there a fancier print? There might not be. We'll just print out args. That's fine. It's beautiful. So now I can take out that print thingy. So then this will just give you the help thing, debug. That's fine. And then there's your function, debug script. It's actually both. What's the singular or species? Species singular. Is species the singular or species? I don't know. Let's check Quora. What a great site. Okay, cool. That's neat. I've never thought about it. That's cool. Good to know. Good to know. It's not that I don't trust you, Demiril. It's just that I don't trust you. That's why I had to check. All right, but clean. This one's pretty easy. Debug, also pretty easy. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Apply module, show debug information. There's really not really too much debug information. Okay, so here, not in cleanup, in apply, this is what I was working with here. So do we need this or no? Get clone, line, branch. Well, it's not line, right? It should be repo. All right, I think that will work. So if we go to here, check the status, deactivate my VNV, because you don't really need it. I don't use any external stuff. I think I don't use any external stuff, right? I use all the built-in dependencies. So typing is a built-in. SHUtil, I don't really know what that does. Or what the difference between SHUtil and I think there's like a OS does some of the same stuff. Don't really understand too much of the Python standard library or how they like split packages apart. That's fine. Don't need to understand why they work, just need to know how to use them. So, boom. We check there, so we have new modules, Ruby GD, modules UN, third-party mruby, which will not compile, and then there's applied modules. So if you cats applied modules, it's completely broken. Oh, you know what? That's why everything is like extraordinarily broken. Okay, so let's just manually rm rf. So it was modules, Ruby GD, modules, UN, and then third-party mruby. I do want to have like Ruby support at some point. I don't know why, I just think it'd be cool. Let me see. So something is broken with how I'm doing the applied files thing. So write lines, modules format. So this makes sense. What did applied modules look like again? So it was this, but it's not inserting a new line, which is kind of a pain. Something that's nice is that most file systems, or most shells at least, like I think CMD also works the same way, is that you can do like cd like dot dash 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 dev, and that'll just work. Which means it's totally fine to have like way too many forward slashes. That's something I didn't realize, but then I was like, I noticed that I was doing this, and a lot of my scripts, they were already including the it's not the preceding, the ending forward slash. I was, oh, I didn't realize that. I guess it makes sense considering that you can also just cd dot dash 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 like that, and it'll just bring you to the the same directory. Oh, okay, cool. The more you know, but I need to figure out why this is not writing any of this stuff. So this gives me a list from copy directories. So copy directories gives me a list of random directories. Well, for every directory, It copies them recursively, and then for every directory, one deep, puts it into a change file list, and then returns that list, which makes sense to me. But then, for some reason, in write lines, it's not inserting a new line, even though it should be. And I'm sure there's a more efficient way of doing this, but whatever. It's for CI builds. Applied modules file. It's a literal. Sure. I guess we can do this really quickly. Just give me a debug. I could attach a debugger, but I'm not going to. We'll just do this every single time. So rm applied modules. I don't think I actually need to do that, but hit me with an apply. Yeah, so that's right. It's slightly incorrect, but whatever. And then when it writes the file, there's no new lines. I wonder if it's not inserting a new line. Like, even though write lines should be inserting a new line, right? So text IO wrapper, write lines. Oh, I have no idea how this works. Python write lines, new line, yeah. With new line. I thought this automatically inserted a new line, but maybe it doesn't. Because I swear this worked before. Does not add. Really? Okay. How did this work before? Or has this just been working by accident? That would not be the first time. I think I can just do, can I do for line plus new line for line in applied files or file. Right, that's valid, I think. I don't quite remember. Probably pretty close though. Just do a blind delete. RM applied modules. Gotta be careful because these aren't actually checked in anywhere. We'll do the newbie thing of just slapping it into an empty file. All right, let's try that again. What was it called? Apply. Okay, cool. I know some Python. I know a few Python tricks. This is something I wish GDScript had, actually. Inline iterators. Something that's kind of painful, though, is this tends to make your IDE freak out when you first start writing it, because it gets very confused. All right, and then when we clean it, it should just remove everything as well. So Python, I don't have Python on my env for some reason. So apply modules and then clean. Does not exist. Well, you know, that's probably fair. Is that true? Modules. ls. No, that's not true. These do exist. Right, because I can ls modules un. I swear this worked. It's only when I started packing them into their own little classes here just to have things be a little cleaner that everything exploded. Is directory. Yeah, so OS path is directory. So if you open up a Python terminal, I said it when you open up a Python terminal. Please, sir, I would like to open up a Python terminal. I might have to kill it. Yeah, I don't know why this happens. Hold on, face tracker. Of course, you are using up a ton of stuff. Next cam, I want to kill it, but we'll wait on that. What is it called? Bash. You can kill that. But then this should be an msys kind of thing, right? No? Ooh, it's so slow. Yeah, end this. Bring me back. Do Python, please. All right, well, we can do this in PowerShell. That's fine. I don't know why I can't do this in Bash anymore. So, import OS. So OS, what was it called? OS path is directory. True. That's true. True, true, that's true. That's true. Modules. True. You win. Yeah, what? So in clean, read lines. Is it possible? Is it possible that it's including the new line? That would be that would be horrible. What does read lines do? What's documentation for read lines in Python? Python read lines without new. Oh my god, it's the new line again. File, read lines, split lines, or you can ship it by hand, but that's fine. Sure. Equals strip. Sure, why not? So I'm thinking that will probably work. Apply modules, clean. We crash. Applied modules does not exist. That's fair. RMRF modules. You win. Modules. Ruby. And then third party. Ruby. Apply. And then we will clean. Yeah, there we go. And so, how did this work before? Has this been working by accident the entire time? Or have I been... It's possible I refactored it so I wasn't inserting new lines. That sounds like something I would do and then completely forget that I did such a thing. Or I guess what I can do here is applied modules is equal to line strip for line in, or not line, yeah. Strip for S in applied modules. Yeah, that's probably a bit better, right? And then everything cleans itself up. So you apply it, and then you clean it. Okay, cool. So that probably did a thing. So let's do modules file. This should be using, oh, we shouldn't be using Ruby GD on this one. That's for sure. But this one should be doing here on my other screen. It's Senpai 4. I don't know why I called it that. It's usually for any of my custom stuff. I won't call it master, I'll call it Senpai instead. Okay. So let's see if that will work. So this should only pull in the you win one, and then this should compile, I think. We can check really quickly by catting you win, what is it called? Register types H. Okay, so yes. It used to be called register UN module. In Godot 4, they changed it to initialize, uninitialize for some reason. Even though the file itself is still called register types. Okay, that's cool. Anyways, I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna break this out into its own thing, and I'm gonna let this build anyways. We can get out of PowerShell. How do you quit out of Python and PowerShell? I know in Bash, you press Control-D to signify end of file. Okay, what is it called? Is it called quit in Python? All right, there we go. Who needs console commands? Make directory, bum bum bum. What are we calling it? Godot module applier. I mean, that's more or less what it does. It's a little on the nose. Get a init. Call it applier.py. Yeah, just kind of slap everything into there. How neat. Let's grab my usual license. Or what's the unlicensed? I don't really need this code. Unlicensed. License. The unlicensed license. And I'm just gonna copy this. Yeah, there we go. So vim license. Just insert. No, this is not it. Undo me. Apparently I did not copy this. Copy. Insert. Paste. There we go. Get add all. All right. Then here, new repo, Godot module applier. Pretty good. It's not really git ignore. There's nothing to ignore. Git remote add origin, push u origin. Hold on. Git branch modify. There we go. Because realistically, it's only me going to be using this script. Or me or my pipelines. There we go. There's your applier.py. It is beautiful. Along with the unlicensed license. So I think if you're using my Python code in production, you've got bigger problems on your hands. But I think this should compile, probably. Scons, platform, Windows, target is release debug, tools. Yes, you don't actually need to specify tools. Actually, you don't really need to specify anything besides target and threads, I think. I think it's more reliable that way. I probably shouldn't be using 8 threads while I'm streaming. It's probably fine though, because I've already compiled it once, so it should be fine. Probably. Let's work on the README while we're at it. I like using the GitHub README for the stuff because it comes with an inline markdown thingamajig. So let's see. Helper script for building Godot with custom modules, or applying custom modules for applying custom to Godot for use in CI. I suppose CI, oh yeah, CI. There's not really a CD, but we can call it CD if you want. Do it with an example. Apply modules. So this is, what did I call it? Applier. And this is clean. Roughly the same thing. Applier pi clean. Show debug information. Applier pi debug. Well, that's fine. We don't need to include that. Yeah, there we go. There's your README. Beautiful. Specs a, what is it called? I'm looking for a specific module. Actually, I see this should be a constant. It's a file called modules file text. The execution directory for a custom file can be passed via flag. Yeah, there we go. Create new file, commit directly to the branch. We'll pull. There we go. We'll make a few more changes, why not? Actually, make them here. Applier. Modules file is called modules file.txt. It's beautiful. Don't ask me how I came up with the name. I think that's fine. Oh, I'm still in caps lock as well. Okay. So copy applier to Godot. Yeah, there we go. So we should have built Godot properly. Yeah, and there it is. So we can open up my Scratch file, and then we should just have my custom C++ module in here, so this will work as expected. Yeah, there we go. Or we can do R is equal to safely wrap null, and then print R, which will give me an error. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And then we can run. I have to do it. Python applier py clean. Good status. Okay, cool. So rm apply modules. Apply modules. Neat. All right. So the diff modules file is fine. Everything else should be okay. Git commit all. Make modules file name a constant. It's not actually a real constant. Python doesn't have constants by default, which is one of the reasons why I don't like Python. I think you can have constants if you import a module, and I think what it does in the background is it creates getters and setters for your variable, and then just like throws like a an access error if you ever try to change the variable value. How bizarre. Could be wrong though. Okay. Yeah, so all you need to do is in CI, you would grab this repository. So then you have the applier.py thingy, and you can pass in everything that you would reasonably need via a modules.txt file, which can be included separately as well, since it's just a text file, right? Very easy. File format, also very simple, because one, it's just an HTTPS GET URL, and the other one is a optional branch, so not at all required. Because otherwise, it'll just use whatever the default branch is configured to be, which is, in most instances, master. But I think if you're pulling from GitHub, GitHub knows which one to give you. I don't remember how GitLab works, or if you're just using like a self-hosted Git provider, I don't know how that works either. I don't think anyone uses self-hosted Git servers though, unless you're using like Git or Gogs. No one uses Gogs though. Git is the newer one, I think, right? I've had to set up Gogs, or I've had to set up Gogs a few times, but I think Git is the fork that's recommended to be used. Anyways, that's that. I'll set up the actual CI later, but that's on the list, or it's soon to be on the list. So major, set up CI. Set up CI for engine builds using this. Okay, so let's get down to actual programming then. So let's see, I have I don't know where my repository is, so let's just open this up. Boom, boom, help. There's your GitHub. All right, so there's your osf.zip, and within that is contained, I can download it, and I can take a look inside. So I won't actually be redistributing the osf.zip thing. What I'll actually be redistributing is, where is it actually? It's called Face Tracker, right? Yeah, Face Tracker, which is an executable file, but it's not executable by me. which makes sense. So 7-zip extract to OSF, and then we can take a look at what the heck this is. So CD downloads, file OSF, face tracker. Is it not here? Where's file not a command? No, I do have file. Git bash is very slow today. Yeah, CD OSF. Oh, it's inside a dist. Sorry. Okay, file. I wonder. All right, yeah, okay. So it's an elf executable. Neat. And so, assuming that this is probably good enough, what should happen is that inside of OpenCFace here, yeah, it's called face tracker on either one. So the Windows version should also just be called face tracker, right? That's something I don't quite remember. If it is called face tracker, to be a bit crass, that's a bit lazy, but if it works, it works. Like, I just called it face tracker because that's what it defaults to giving you, right? Oh, thank you very much, Flame Lizard Codes, for the raid. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How are you? What were you working on? How is your stream? What are the other usual questions people usually ask? Okay, there we go. Okay, so they call it face tracker as well. Yeah, face tracker.exe. Yeah. Oh, hello. What I'm working on is this application. So we go here. This is the current Windows build. So if I turn this off, I'm rewriting OpenCFace GD. Name has changed so it doesn't get confused with the upstream project, OpenCFace, because we're not related. We go here, blah, blah, tracking. Takes a little bit because it does need to run the exe to grab all kinds of random bits of data. Look at that. So this is actually using a very, very lightweight model. So this should be using almost no CPU time. Go to showcase some Godot 4 shader magic with sky shaders and those shaders. Shaders, I saw something about they added shader includes and stuff, and also some like editor tooling for shaders, so you can group shader uniforms now, which is really cool. My neck hurts now. Nice. Recommend doing some neck stretches like this. Something I have to do fairly often, actually, when I turn on and off the face tracker. It kind of does the Apple Face ID thing where you need to get all the angles, all the contours of your face registered. I love that you do that with Godot. Thank you. I like Godot, right? It's easy to use. And then if I need more complicated stuff, you know, I feel comfortable enough with C++ to, you know, write my own modules and stuff. So here's like a module I wrote. This is all C++. I just got finished writing a little CI script. Not the most glamorous of things, but yeah, a little Python script that you feed in a list of modules. So one of these, here's a script here in my custom fork that I've been maintaining, but I don't really want to maintain my own fork. But here, very simple syntax. You just pass in a get thingy, and then here we have, you know, modules, blah, blah. This is kind of boring, but spout GD, this has modules and patches and third-party stuff. And then patches need to be applied, modules need to be applied, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do all this via CI. So you can go compile engine builds pretty painlessly. And a proposal for the shader uniform groups, and 6 days Later was implemented. Oh, that was you. That's neat. Congratulations. That's awesome. I think all my PRs for Godot have always been languished in PR hell. Actually, you don't languish in hell. You languish in PR purgatory. So I withdrew most of them. It's just too much of a pain to have to keep rebasing stuff. Thanks for spatial shaders now. Ooh. Aren't spatial shaders? It's just like don't they already have a shader type for that? Isn't right or no? I don't really mess with shaders too much unless they're like canvas items. Yeah, rebasing sucks. Yeah, rebasing sucks, but also like when you, because I don't know what the cadence for PR review is, but like my PR was sitting there for 6 months, and every now and then I get like, you know, hey, this needs to be rebased. I'm like, I don't really feel like it anymore. I'm just gonna withdraw it. Yeah, but this is what I have. We'll stop this. There's an alpha out. I do need to test this on Linux, but I did finally get the PyInstaller stuff to work on Linux as well. So it's nice. So now I can unify a lot of my code base under the same tracker code, which is nice. I think I said nice twice. Yeah, so now instead of having like a big switch case statements for constructing, you know, arguments and all that, now we just do this. So hopefully you get more built-ins to your PR and get it takes quite some time if there's not much pressure behind it. Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff, a lot of the PR stuff, they like want to have a solid use case. Oh, this is your username. I've seen your, I've seen that a few times. Or it might just be I recognize the lizard. Okay. Implements this proposal. Often use several visual shader nodes. Don't really know. Oh, okay. Model matrix, and then you're extracting certain parameters. So I'm assuming, yeah, this is the origin, right? So from the model matrix, you're taking the fourth part of it, and the XYZ, which is that's equivalent to like the transform origin. Is that it? Yeah. I didn't read the entire thing. There we go. He's done it. Or maybe I accidentally read the entire thing, but subconsciously, and absorbed the information into my brain, thinking that I thought of it myself. Neat. I'll give you a thumbs up. There you go. You have my seal of approval, even though I probably won't be using it. Hopefully it makes the people who write my shaders, makes their lives a bit easier. Yeah, what I'm doing now, still not a few, there's a lot of things that should be improved. So for example, here, something that's kind of strange, right? So to get this information, it actually needs to run the exe and do some stuff. But you might notice a little bit of lag when I click on this again, because it's the same window, right? These options are not linked. These are completely separate. They don't update. They're not. They talk to the same configuration file, but they're not synced. If I want to sync them, I need to do some special stuff, which is what happens here. Well, let's do it here. So I can model these two are synced via some pub sub code, which is not the cleanest implementation. So I'm thinking of a different way of doing this, which is to store state in like essentially like a key value cache, but the key is a string, but the value is just this entire node, and then we just duplicate from that node. Yeah, it gets very complex. The fact that you're allowed to have multiple windows open at the same time, multiple of the same window open at the same time, makes it somewhat complicated because you have so many options grouped under each window. And then another idea is to have you know, layouts, right? So you can potentially maybe dock it somewhere. I'm still thinking about that. But you know, the idea is that, right, if you're doing face tracking things, you're not usually fiddling with your UI, but when you do want to fiddle with a UI, there's a lot of things that you can potentially fiddle with. And then you'll want to fiddle with them pretty quickly, right? Because there's a lot of, you know, looseness options for, you know, moving stuff, etc. So the VRM models are actually supported. I guess I can gaslight people. Or not gaslight, catfish people using this. So there's a lot of eye values, so maybe you'll want to link your eye blinks. You can use raw eye rotation, etc., etc. I don't remember if this is supposed to be using raw eye rotation, but something like that. Can you restrict the user to one type of window open as? Yeah, exactly. I think you got it. Lots of things to fiddle with. So on the simple models, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but for more complicated models, I think you would want to have, you know, more open at once so you can tweak more values at the same time. Oh, hello Dash, how are you? So let's see. So I have a key value store already implemented. It's not atomic. It's very thread unsafe, but it does work. and it's somewhat fancy, if I say so myself, because it has the concept of clearing the values at some point. So we go to our temp cache manager. So you can have cleanup on signal, which will clean up, you know, your key value pair when it detects a signal. The implementation is just horrible though, because there's not a great way of doing it, right? Because you cannot connect something to the same signal more than once, which is kind of a pain. And then there's cleanup on pull, etc. So this is all done via builder pattern. So when you do presets, something like this, maybe not this. Load, publish, hold on. I've seen it before. TCM push. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we have something for example, this, right? So when you push a new key value pair, so model initial transform, and then you push your model transform. So if you ever want to, so if you move your model around, you have the option to, you know, reset where they should be. So something like, oh, this is the wrong one. Do this, and then if I do that, it will. Implementation OpenCFace GD is a bit scuffed, but it's close enough to what I mean, right? I think this model transform actually refers to, it zeroes everything out, whereas this model transform actually refers to where you configure it via user inputs. But that's the idea. And then clean up on signal. Whenever we exit tree, we just remove the key pair from our cache. I think that makes sense. I need to go back to this. Need to remember that. To do this. Implementation is gross. Yeah, lots of pain points in Godot 3 though that I've been running into. So for example, I need to have a reference back to the superclass temp cache manager, but I can't do that, otherwise it'll leak. So I actually have to have parent be a reference. It's kind of bizarre. I'm not really sure why that's a bug. All I know is that it just happens. But yeah. So if I go to my GUI, these are all my pop-ups. Where is it? Base pop-up. So here, base pop-up. I think I can push this. Wait, hold on. Maybe I shouldn't push here, or I shouldn't be doing it from the pop-up. So the idea of the pop-up is that every single one of, you know, these menus that I was showing off before, these aren't custom. Well, I mean, they are custom, but the pop-up window is not custom. So the model window is just kind of a raw UI kind of thing. Hola and hello. Hello, hello. My Spanish is very bad, but I I can do my best. I can only fluently speak English, but you know, I can read almost a Spanish newspaper on anything that isn't like economics or politics, which really limits the amount of things I can read in a newspaper, but you know. Yeah, so each pop-up window is actually just a blank pop-up, and then you can just slap in whatever you want here. So that's the design. So maybe in the GUI instead, so the default GUI, and then might also notice here, if you go back to the main menu, you do have the option of loading in alternative GUIs if you want to. I plan on rewriting a lot of this GUI stuff using GDML, which is a HTML style markup language that converts to GD script. So it's very similar to like a text scene file with inline GD script. More similar actually to like HTML with inline JavaScript. Yo no hablos español, eh? I don't. You speak? I don't. He, she, they spoke past tense Spanish. Isn't hablos? That's past. That's a past affirmative tense for third person, right? It should be yo no hablo español. Something like that. Muy poquito. Something like that. I don't know. I think Desh speaks Spanish, right? I used to know all the conjugations as well for most of the common vocabulary. Now that stuff was complicated. What was I showing off here? I don't remember. So GUI stuff. So this is the default GUI. And whenever you press a thing, create pop-up, unpressed. Yeah, is that true? These are the built-in menus. Everything connects to this. Before the GE, what's the GE jam? On stream by Captain Fu. I was really unsure of the UI in general, but I really like make it look so easy though. Yeah, I think the UI thing is just something you need to get used to. But once you get used to it, it's really neat. Although I'm starting to come around, like the common recommendation in Godot is to do everything via text scene files, aka you do it all via the UI. I think that's a trap. You should not do everything via the UI. I think doing it like this, where my base pop-up, you might notice that there's no associated text scene file for this. This is just a script. And so then that allows you to have an init thingy here, so you can pass in screens arbitrarily, which is really nice. So it's better to mix and match how you store data like that. I suppose the hard part is that you need to know which values you should be poking at, but you know. This is 5,000% more than me. I spent 2 months in Peru 20 years ago. That's like some of my Spanish. Okay. Hey, you know, I'm a programmer. We like to go down rabbit holes. Game Endeavor. Still not super familiar with who Game Endeavor is, but I'm sure they're great. Actually, are they a YouTube channel? I feel like they make tutorials. That sounds familiar to me. Let me see. Add child, create pop-up. Okay, hold on. Here's what we can do. Is here, bar pop-up. Why am I typing this all out again? Sorry, I'm struggling with typing as well because I broke another keyboard. I think I know what's causing the problem is that the USB-C connector is just kind of hanging off the PCB. So I'm thinking I need to get a multimeter, test the entire PCB, see if the entire thing is shorted out. If it's not shorted out, then it's the connector. And then I just need to solder it back. Oh, thank you very much for redeeming a hydrate. Let's do that. That's a little bit more than us. DO9 more in Unity. Yeah, and Unity has a lot of weird controversies as well. Ugh. All right. It's also probably a good opportunity to refill my drinks. My water and my 21 plus beverage if you're based out of the US. Co-hosted by Lucy Lavin. Oh, I've seen Lucy Lavin is they post on Twitter. I'm assuming they also have a YouTube channel. I saw their Twitter post. They made like a VTuber thing as well. Not open source. I'm interested in what their lip sync thing was though, because I think theirs was implemented entirely in GD scripts. Mine is in Rust, but the Rust one is jank. I think they've done a bit more reading on that than I have. Hydrate or dihydrate? Yeah. Why not? Por qué no los dos? So let's see. Pop up. Create pop up. Hold on. So var pop up is some sort of base pop up. Get rid of this, get rid of that, and then we just need to check to see if there is something in the cache. If there's nothing in the cache, then we'll create something. Yeah, so res is equal to safely wrap. This is one of the C++ modules I wrote for safely accessing pretty much anything, because this is guaranteed, well, 99.99% guaranteed to not result in a null value. Some really great content. How goes progress with the app? I have an alpha out for Windows only. I need to test more on Linux, or test it all on Linux. I was too busy playing the new Octopath Traveler game. It's a gacha, but I think it uses the same engine as another Eden, which is another gacha game, but it's one of those gacha games that doesn't have like an energy time. It's not time gated. So like Genshin is time gated by resin. Like FGO is time gated by, I think isn't FGO time gated by energy or no? It's been a while since I played FGO. Fate Grand Order. All right, so we'll pull some value. Let's go to globals. This is kind of gross. These are all just random signals. Well, actually, this doesn't need to be global because this is local to this thing here. Booba. Yeah, there is Booba. I suppose I can show off where I'm at with the entire application though, right? So this is where we're at. Ignore this. I'm gonna replace this with an actual splash screen, but there is some background loading that needs to finish before we get to this screen, because I do need to read every single extension here. And so the idea of the extension system is like so. So if I go to exports, this is all you really need. Actually, this is all you really need. So I go to apps. Oh, actually, we already have it here. So here, I can run this twice and show this off. So this is the current alpha version that's uploaded to the GitHub. Low poly silicon. Yeah, so here it is. Extensions, etc., etc. So what you can do is this. So if you were to just, I don't know, we can delete the VRM thing, so you no longer have support for the fancy anime models. And so now when you run the application, it just boots you out to the default runner, because I always provide a default. VRM is just included as a nice to have, because that's what most people are like, probably going to be downloading this. It's for like the fancy anime models, but you know, I usually use the duck. I like the duck more. So everything's loaded at runtime. It's not baked in, which is neat. So you can bring it back. But everything is scanned at startup, so. Could be construed as a plus, could be construed as a minus. I think it's a plus because it allows me to redistribute things under different licenses as well. Yeah, everything works. Well, not everything. There's no prop support. I haven't got back to that just yet. I still need to figure out a better way of handling different pop-ups. Hello? Hello, hello. It's paragraph. So I wonder if you might know this. Right away when I export the iOS via capacitor, he was saying, whereas text not found for every single texture. I don't know too much about iOS exports, but are you sure that you've exported your stuff correctly? So, for example, here, like I don't export every single resource. So for example, I have like a testing tool called Guts that I explicitly leave out, something like that. Are you trying to export files not usually used by Godot? So if you're trying to export like a .text file or a .json file, you actually need to include that here. Strange because it works for HTML5 only when it's exported. It's hard to say. I mean, for iOS, I'm not sure. I've never tried. I don't usually do mobile exports at all. But usually when it says it can't find a file, that's why. Is because you're trying to pass in a file. You've either accidentally excluded it here, unless you're doing export all resources in the project, or you're trying to export a file that is not usually used by Godot, but you're using it in your code. So then you need to include it here in under filters to export non-resource files / folders, comma separated, right? So if you're using a JSON file, you need to include it there. No problem, no problem. Apologies for catfishing you. Let's see, so this is actually on pressed scene. I actually don't know what this is. On pressed. Create pop-up, scene resource path, capitalize. Oh, that's beautiful. Just fantastic. I think I can do this, scene resource path, get file, and then use that as the key. Or no, I can just use this entire thing, right? So this is the, I use this as the pop-up window name. So for here, when we load in, blah, blah, we have VRM, load into model, and I use, I mean, the name of this is model, right? For remote control, it's actually called remote control GUI under the resources thingamajig here. I can find it. It's just a strange problem. No worries. Once you see, if you see it once, it just kind of sticks in your head, right? Then you'll remember it from now on. Maybe. Sometimes it's not like that, you know. You know, the saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me. Wait. What was the George? what's the Bush quote? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't be fooled again. You know, the context behind him butchering that quote is because he realized he was about to say shame on me and he didn't want that soundbite taken out of context. Yeah, or can't be fooled again, something like that. Because it was the television era, right? Because there was that other guy who was running as a Democrat. I think it was, man, I don't remember, but he made like a raptor noise. It was like, "Rah!" on live television, and then just sunk his entire campaign. Back when doing things like that would sink your campaign. Now doing things like that in the modern era would probably like push you to win the nomination for your political party. But anyways, that's getting too far into politics there. Yeah, what is this Bush fool me once quote? Fool, don't actually watch it. Yeah, he absolutely butchers it though. Yeah, I don't say in Tennessee. No, that's more of just like a random Southern quote or Southern accent. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me. He doesn't even finish it. He butchers it so hard. You can't get fooled again. Like I think it's, they say it's like it's a dumb quote. Like he definitely does butcher it. It's pretty smart though, at least for him, right? So they don't get the bad soundbite. Of course, like, you know, Bush is has other problems with his term, but we're not gonna mention that. Something WMDs, something oil, etc. He says immediately following saying he's not going to talk about politics. What am I doing with my life? All right, so we'll pull this. So pop up name, right? And then if res is error, then we'll want to, do we have a logger attached to this or no? Oh, we don't actually have a logger attached to this, huh? Okay, so let's attach a logger to this. Why not? Logger, some sort of logger. When actually we can do this just in, oh, probably shouldn't do it in init, right? You know what? We're gonna do it in init. Something that gets a lot of people, and it got me for a while, is the difference between init and ready, especially when you're talking about scenes. So excited about moving from Unity to Godot and having so much fun. Godot is so great. Yeah, Godot has a lot of nice parts about it, for sure. I think if you, especially if you come from like a traditional programming background, I think Godot is easier to use because the programming model is just more standard, I guess. It's, or at least it's standard from, you know, when I was in school. Of course, I went to school for business, so that doesn't really count. I took like 2 programming classes. Logger error. Well, actually, no. Hold on. If you pull something, it gives you a result, and then we just wrap it just to be sure. Pulls a value from the cache, null is returned for the given key. Does not return null value. Wait, hold on. Did I mess this up? Oh, I need to check to see if the error is something that I can work off of. Yeah, but I think especially with how Unity has been getting into a lot of controversy with the adware merger, they laid off their demo team, their entire demo team as well, which is strange because usually you would move your demo team to just other parts of the company. But instead of moving them to other parts of the company, just laid them all off? That doesn't make any sense. And then they merged with another company. I'm assuming they merged with like Ironworks or IronSource, whatever they're called, to get their patents. Not exactly to retain talents. And res unwrap error is equal, does not equal error code temp cache manager key not found. All right, so this is where we bail out. Yeah, help me to switch. Yeah. Well, I think for me personally, I prefer open source because there's a lot of things, you know, if it's an engine bug, it's possible for you to figure out what it is. Right? If you're doing something that's closed source like Unity, it's like, I don't know, is it my fault or is it the engine's fault? I don't know. It's most likely like the developer's fault, right? Your fault, but there's always a little doubt in the back of your mind. It's like, maybe. Maybe. Or actually, I need to do this here. I think that makes more sense. Then if if it's this, then this is an unrecoverable error. Otherwise, we'll want to do this. So if there is nothing in the cache, so it's not cached, we will just create a new pop-up. Oh. Otherwise, we will set pop-up equal to res unwrap duplicate. And that's going to be, we're duplicating a node. I suppose I can cast this as well just to have a little bit extra type hinting. That's when they have devs back. Frustrating trying to get secure sockets working in Unity. I actually switched. Oh, secure sockets. What's a secure socket? Are you talking about like a WebSocket over a secure WebSocket, or are you talking about like a Unix socket? Or are you talking like a physical socket, which is something I'm completely not familiar with? There's many types of sockets we could be talking about. Duplicate flags. What are the duplicate flags in Godot? So duplicate, duplicate, whatever this is. So this defaults to 15. Does this add up to 15? This does. Duplicates the node signals, groups, scripts, instancing. An instance stays linked to the original, so when the original changes, the instance changes too. I think that makes sense. That makes sense to me. WebSocket, I can get the server that accepts secure connections. Oh, talking about WebSockets. If you want an HTTP library, guess what I've written? Oh baby, I wrote this. Not quite what you're looking for, but oh, by the way, I broke my keyboard, so I'm using a different keyboard. I'm not used to the key layout. So look at this. So like one of the weird things about Godot is that Godot doesn't give you an actual HTTP server. It gives you a TCP server, but then you have to do all the routing and parsing yourself. So Mom, wish you a good stream. Oh, thank you again, Flame Lizard. Much appreciate the raid. Have a good night or morning or whatever. Don't know where you're based. But yeah. Something that's interesting about Godot as well is that if you want to do HTTP requests in pretty much any other language like C# or whatever, they have a built-in HTTP request thing. But Godot, the only way to do HTTP requests easily is using a node. So it needs to exist in your scene, which is kind of strange. I know why they do it, but if you want to do it yourself without adding it as a node, and because nodes in Godot have a lot of overhead, right? Good night. Let's see more viewers and you a big booba. Is there a link between booba and more viewers? The jury's still out. All right, I think this should work though. I've been talking about lots of random stuff, but check this out. You might not have noticed, but I was programming all that while. How does he do it? So we do model, oh no. Invalid operands, object and int and, oh, that's true. Unwrap error, so this gives you an error thingy, so we can do code, because unwrap error gives you a safe error, which is not available in standard Godot, because that's a custom module. All right, so I think that's all I needed to do. Boop, boo. Go here. Model. Model. So these should be the same instance. Yeah. So that should be fine. So no, that's cached, and they don't currently clean themselves up either, which is a little unfortunate. This one should be cleaned up properly. No. Maybe. Oh, absolutely not. Isn't it if you duplicate them, they should be... all the values should be the same as well? Or is that not true? Oh, and I suppose here I need to do am tcm push. Oh. Pop up name. Pop up. So that's your key. And then we'll do clean up on signal. So get tree current scene tree exiting. Yeah. So when it starts to exit tree, we'll clean up this entire pop-up. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So here, what we're doing is when you request a new pop-up, like doing this, so model, that requests a new pop-up, there's nothing cached, so we create a new pop-up here. We go down this entire thing. We check to see if it's an unrecoverable error. So if it's not, key not found, if the error is key not found, then we just skip this. Here, pop-up, create pop-up, and then we push this into the cache. And then whenever the current scene, so this is the entire current scene, we can even verify that here in the remotes. So if I were to exit here, we can check the TCM, the cache, and then we have a bunch of things in our cache right now. So here's model, right? And then when we click on model again, it explodes. Nice. Trying to assign value type window dialog to a variable of type base pop-up. That's not true. That's not true at all. Well, base pop-up is a window dialog, right? Yeah, base pop-up is a window dialog, but I guess the type information got stripped at runtime. But then it's still through an error, which means if we continue on, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's one of the things that's kind of weird, is that it doesn't do type erasure like Java does, but GDScript is still pretty weakly typed. Well, it's not weakly typed, but it's dynamically typed, and also somewhat weakly typed. So if you have too many layers of indirection, you can actually substitute in a dictionary for an actual object, and those are not the same things in Godot. A dictionary is not an object. A dictionary is a dictionary. An array is an array, right? Those are base types. But you can access a dictionary like an object, which is what can lead to a lot of bugs. I know this because it's happened before. Maybe I just don't add a type to this. We can just say this is some sort of window dialog. That's probably good enough. So we go here. We can take a look. I'm just going to stare at the cache. So we don't have anything in the cache right now. Run this. This adds a few things to the cache. So this adds the runner path just in case we need to reload, the GUI path just in case we need to reload, initial transform, and then the model parent initial transform. Model parents, model pivots, they mean the same thing in this context. So the model, now we have the model, boom, add a second model, something exploded, that's good. Interesting. Create instance. Null pointer. I wasn't able to duplicate that. So that was at 87, which is here. So unwrap. we grab that data and then try to duplicate it. All right, hold on. What if we do this in 2 steps? I'm assuming it's probably the duplicate call that's not working. So do this. I think hot reloading might work, might not work. Let's see, did the error come at a different place, or do I just need to start the entire thing over again? Okay, no. So the hot reload did work. So on pressed, so we're not able to duplicate. So let's take a look at Godot. I'm looking at the wrong thing. All right, I have way too many windows open. Okay, all in the same place. So ignore this. This is my Ruby thing. I did include, or I was able to embed a Ruby interpreter into Godot. It doesn't really do anything right now, but you are able to poke at it for whatever reason. So that was at GDScript 126. What is that? So, okay, that's actually pretty early to explode. It does the C thing where you pass in a reference. Error constructing. So this is create instance of GDScript. So I wasn't able to do that. Didn't this work before? Or is it because when I'm... Oh, yeah, it's when I push it into the cache. That's strange. So if I don't push this into the cache, well, obviously, if I don't push it into the cache, then it just creates a new one every single time. So initializer call. I'm assuming initializer is just is a function, I'm assuming. Eh? What? Is initializer a function? Yeah, well, what? What the heck is initializer? And what are we calling on it? So we're passing an instance to it with some arguments and arg counts, and then some way to grab the error from it, because that's how C works. And also because Godot doesn't use try catch, which is fair. I don't think there's too many instances within the Godot codebase where you see try catch. It's interesting. So null pointer. I mean, I'm able to get a value here. So if I set a breakpoint here, click on model. So is R set to anything? Yeah, R is an object, but I'm just not able to duplicate it. What if I just don't duplicate it? Right, because I'm looking at the stuff here, right? So window title, we can even like, oh, we probably shouldn't mess with it actually. But we could. Boo, anime girl. Pervert. Don't you mean you hentai? Don't make it weird. Hentai just means pervert in Japanese. Hentai baka. Hentai is alright. Well, okay, hold on. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that. Or did you? Well, I didn't. I did literally say I didn't say that, so I was gonna say I didn't not say that. Let me see. I'm trying to do something so creating new pop-ups doesn't break a bunch of stuff every single time. Oh, you know what? Look at this. It is actually creating the nodes properly. It's just throwing a bunch of errors. Maybe? Hold on. No, okay. There's the error. It is creating the pop-ups, but it's not creating a new separate instance of them. Streams have been going for almost 2 hours, just got the notification. I blame Twitch. I do, if you want a more up-to-date notification, I do have a Discord, so you can look at that. Boom. I wrote the bot myself, which is why the bot is so unreliable. Actually, that's not true. The bot is unreliable because of the container, but that's because the Docker file is super scuffed. So why am I not able to duplicate this? Because logically, this makes sense to me, or does it need to be duplicated in place? Is that the rub? That might be it, is that it needs to be duplicated in place? Or how does duplicate work at all, right? So on node duplicate, these are duplicate flags, and I'm just using the defaults. Oh, maybe I don't want to duplicate using instancing, so this should be 2, 4, 7. I should be passing in 7 when I duplicate, maybe? Where is it? Yeah, so this doesn't make a difference, that's fine. Pass in duplicate 7 there, just so it works differently. Nope. Another error. And I'm assuming it did actually add the node properly as well. Yeah. Rules kind of apply to me, I guess, in your Discord. I don't remember what the what any of the rules are. I've been meaning to get back to that, but one day. I'm in the middle of rewriting the bot. It's a lot better now, because I finally understand Golang, and not GTScript, but Golang a lot better. You can fine-tune the behavior. Duplicates the nodes, returning a new node. Will not work properly if the node contains a script. Oh, the node contains a script with constructor arguments. The node will be okay, I see, I got it. So the node does have a constructor that takes arguments. So what I should be doing instead is grabbing the trying to stall for a time while I open up the file. I need to grab the screen and then grab that. Yeah, because the inner screen does not have constructor thingamajigs. So I'll create a new pop-up. That pop-up will be completely separate, but the UI inside of it will be linked. Yeah. There needs to be a programmer role. Isn't there a programmer role or no? It's been a little while. Get roles. What roles are there? There's a developer role. 2 different things. They mean the same thing. What's the difference between developer and programmer? Developer does not mean programmer. Okay, so what's the difference? Enlighten me. I think the nuance is a bit different if that's what you're referring to. Create pop-up. Oh, but this is a pack scene, isn't it? Yeah, because this instances it, yeah? Okay, so I need to make a few changes here. So the screen could be a few things. Okay. Hold on. there's a lot of things. So if P developers for like a product, programmers for like Arduino and stuff. Nope. False. We have programmers on my team. Actually, technically, my my role actually at my company is programmer, but I don't work on any Arduinos. Can you? I suppose you could be a programmer and a developer, but that doesn't make any sense whatsoever in my world. How can you be both a programmer and a developer? It's redundant, right? It's like saying that you are, you know, I'm in sales, but I'm also a, what was it called? A solutions architect. It's the same thing. Yeah, a programmer develops software, yes. Therefore, a programmer is a developer. Oh my gosh. I suppose if your arguments had been, you know, a programmer can be a hobbyist, where a developer is more of a professional role, maybe I could have agreed with you because there is some nuance to the term. But saying that, you know, it's just a matter of which thing you work on is incorrect. No. You can be an embedded developer or embedded programmer. They mean the same thing. You can be a front-end programmer, front-end developer. They mean the same thing. Right. It's just a term describing the same thing. The nuance, there is a slight nuance, but for all intents and purposes, it doesn't make a difference. This is annoying. This is something that's very annoying in GDScript. So you can't use match because type of just tells you if it's an object or not. So PackC and GDScript, those are all objects, but you cannot match on the type hierarchy. I forget I said anything. It's okay. I'm glad we hash it out. There is some nuance that's missing, I agree, but it doesn't make a huge amount of difference either way. Screen is some sort of node, and screen is just equal to whatever the input screen was. And if it's none of those, then we should explode. Logger error, let me see, like unhandled screen passed to pop up. Aborting. And then we'll just stringify whatever you passed, or whatever the developer passed, which is mostly just me. So are you an anime girl? I don't know. I think there were some new viewers and I was just showing off what the heck I was working on. So usually showing off the duck, not super impressive because for whatever reason, people tend to think that the duck is like pre-animated because it's not very complicated, whereas using the anime model, it shows off a bunch more features. You know, with you have the eyeballs rolling around my head. You have the mouth doing the, I don't know, mouth stuff. Performing mastication. It's not weird. That's a real word. Okay. So I think here we can do pop-up name. And then create pop-up. I hate using the staggered keyboard. I miss my ortholinear keyboard. All right, let's see. So scene, where does scene come from? This is res unwrap screen. So we pass around the screen and then we should be duplicating this as well. I think that makes sense. This is kind of gross. But here, what we've changed is, one, whenever you request a new pop-up, we check to see if that pop-up was already cached or is already in the cache. If it's already in the cache, then we'll use the cached value. I think we can even get rid of this. We don't need to cache the actual pop-up container. But yeah, if the screen is completely new, then we'll create a new screen, blah, blah, and then we'll push it into the cache, and then we'll clean up the key value pair whenever we exit the current scene, so we don't leak any memory. I think that makes sense. So create pop-up, and then we'll push scene. Right? Yeah, it might be better to do it like this in this order. Yeah. So this is an unrecoverable error. Temp cache manager key not found. That is a recoverable error, but if it's not that error, then we'll push this into the whatever. We'll create the pop-up, blah, blah. I think that makes sense. Go back to Godot. Because the error I was running into before is that you cannot duplicate a GD script that takes arguments to init, which is very annoying. It's a GD script limitation. Okay, cool. And I think if I check my cache, yeah, there's only the one, and then these should be sharing the same object. If I check the, I don't know about that. These look to be, oh no, they're duplicated. Okay, it's not the same instance. Maybe I shouldn't be duplicating it? No, but you can't add it to the scene twice, so it has to be duplicated. That's right, that's right. So these are linked, there's no errors just yet, which is good. Now, tracking is not set up to link. So let's see if these will link. Nope. Well, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Huh. But they should be linked. Or is that not what that means? Returning a new node. What does this mean? Returning a new node, you can find in the behavior using the flags, duplicate flags, and the duplicate flags say an instance stays linked to the original, so that when the original changes, the instance changes too. Yeah, and I am duplicating using instancing, right? Because I'm using the defaults. Default flag is 15, which is 1, 3, 7, 15. Yep, which is all flags. Am I allowed the window to be open multiple times again? So you can do things like this. So you're gonna model open at the same time, right? And then you can look at multiple options at the same time. I think that's just a nice to have. I can restrict that, of course. I can always just check to see if the window already exists and then just decline, I suppose. Maybe just pop it to the top of the stack so it's the top one. That's the easiest way around it, for sure. I'd rather try to avoid doing that for now, though. Because I think being able to access, you know, multiple values at the same time has value, or has more upsides than downsides. Being able to access multiple options has value, yes. That's a much less awkward statement. But of course, I know these are linked because I have these explicitly set up to be linked. So this doesn't really count. Tracking, though, is not explicitly set up to be linked, and they're also not. Yeah, see, it's... Maybe I just need to change how these are running? Question mark. So if I go to tracking, GD. I could just check to see if it's like already set up. Like have a flag that checks to see if it's already set up. So on like the first run, you know what? Let's try that. Let's try that. can do var is set up. It's called a false. And we'll do this at the very bottom. Is set up is the true, and then at the top we shouldn't need to do any of this stuff, right? Because of what this says. An instance says linked to the original, so that when the original changes, the instance changes too. I'm assuming the variables are not linked though. I think that's what's throwing me for a loop. Linking, because we played something like a virtual instrument using hand motions, maybe. I don't really, yeah, possibly, I don't know. Maybe, you could already kind of do that in like an iToy kind of way. Does anyone remember iToy? Or is that, what did PlayStation call it? Was it called the iToy? So like I already have your like positioning, and in a very early version of this program, OpenCPHDD, which is the old version, iToy, yeah. Like it is possible to generate a mesh at runtime, or not a collision mesh at runtime. So you could like interact with physics objects, which is cool. All right, let's give this a try. Oh, you can't do that. Return safely. Okay. So always need to return some sort of value. So not model, tracking. So the first one should take a bit of time, and then second one, thinking. Hold on. Breakpoints, tracking. So it doesn't duplicate the variables. Interesting. Interesting. It does not duplicate the variables. Gotta remember that. But anyways, these variables are not stored on the thing anyways, right? They all read from... Huh. But wait. I mean, it should be duplicating the initial values of all the GUI stuff, though. I don't know. I'm going to refill my water bottle, though, really quick. BRB. Hello, I'm back. Something that's kind of neat, by the way. I think I've failed to show this off before, but check this out. My escape key's in a different position. Look at this. My favorite part. So you change the rotation. So in the previous version, they were called damps. They've now been changed to be called looseness. So if you turn it to 1, look at that. Oh no. Or if you just use the raw value, the raw rotation value, look at that. That's pretty wild. And see, this is one of the things that was very, very difficult to get right. Right? Because when I was initially developing it, I was really confused as to why, you know, why doesn't the tracking work? Why am I like freaking out, you know? But as it turns out, all you need to do is change, is that the tracking values that are given by the face tracker are actually really, really sensitive, or maybe overblown is probably a better word. So it took a long time to figure out like what value would be a good default. Actually, I think the default value I give you for all models is actually 0.03, which is still a bit too much because anime girl can go full owl. Rotate her head full 180 degrees, even though, you know, spoilers, I'm not actually an owl. This might surprise you. Oh, it's looking nice. Look, you got a fair amount together already. I've got more than that, actually. I actually have a release. So you can find the previous version up on GitHub. Look at this. So there's an alpha out for whatever I'm working on right now, which more or less works only on Windows for now. And you still need to test the Linux version. I still need to hook everything up. But OpenCFace, this one, you can grab the... I don't know why there's... I should probably take off the Raspberry Pi version. I'll leave it up for now. But there's a Windows version and there's a Linux version, etc., etc. So it all should just work, maybe. Apply transformation, go really crazy, yeah. Especially when the data you're working with isn't super well documented. And then also like I think part of the problem is also that VRM models are really, really sensitive to like changing the rotation. So if I change over to the duck again, right? Oh no, okay. Get out of this. Oh no, this is also wrong. That's a tank. This is a duck. Yeah, so the duck is way less sensitive to rotation stuff. So if I change this to 3, you know, well, actually this is all also pretty sensitive. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And also I need to be very careful. Look at that. Since it's GD script, you can change the scripts at runtime and then remap just whatever you want to the whatever commands. Look at that. All right, bring me back to the anime girl. Well, let's stay on that. Well, anime model is a bit more showy. I do have like a basic model that I exported from, what is it called? Vroid Studio? It's just a bald dude, which is pretty much what I am, actually. Oh, thank you very much, Renpona, for the follow. Much appreciated. Stars on the repository are more appreciated. We're almost at 300, and then I can shove this in recruiters' faces when they ask me to prove my credentials. This is my credential. Can I skip your completely BS programming test now? Yeah, it's weird actually, like an Amazon recruiter. So I guess spoilers, I don't work for Amazon. But an Amazon recruiter like found my work email and has just been like, or I suppose like Amazon recruiters have found my work email and they've just been passing it around internally because I suppose now they know that their email didn't bounce. So now they've just been spamming me with, hey, you know, Amazon is looking for an engineer too. You know, do you want to work on is it Amazon Fresh? What's the store where you can walk in and just walk out? I thought that would be kind of cool, but also I've also heard, you know, in the industry, right? You never want to work for Amazon. Because like working for Amazon's like working for a game dev studio, except a lot less fulfilling. Oh, maybe Amazon wants to make a VTuber branch. Yo, that'd be sick. I would actually take it. They want to hire me for that, but I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure they want me to just. I think they're hiring pretty hard for their Alexa team right now. But. See, the problem with Amazon is that they, one, it's super cutthroat. 2, I've taken their programming test before, and it's just absolute horse crap. It's like, here's like 5 Java programs, debug them in 5 minutes. I was like, what are you talking about? 1, I don't program Java I don't write too much Java anymore. I can still write it, but you need to give me some time. And also, like, who debugs programs in 5 minutes? 5 programs in 5 minutes? That's crazy. I didn't even write the code. And this Java code was definitely not written by an English speaker. You never want to work for hospitals? Yeah, it's pretty much like working for anything that isn't... I'm trying to think of like a thing that you would want to work for. Like automotive, you don't want to work for. Hospitals, like healthcare is pretty bad because of HIPAA. At least in the US, there's a lot of privacy concerns. Financial services, which is what I work in, you never want to work in. Like, I'm still I think I'm now the second youngest, but I was the youngest for like 3 years. And now after like 5 years with my company, I'm the second youngest. They hired like 10 young people straight out of college and all but one of them quit within 2 years because like financial services is a meat grinder, right? So there's a lot of red tape. I hear you never want to work for telecom. I hear you never want to. There's a lot of lots of things you never want to work for. I hear government's pretty good, but that's tough. Like especially DoD, if you're a U.S. citizen, that's pretty good as well. Hold on, I'm thinking. By the way, I need to get off of career talk. Although I do like talking about career stuff. If I had just skills, I would try to apply for a tech company like cover related to VTubers and stuff. Yeah, well, see the problem about working for like pure tech companies like that or like entertainment is that they don't pay well. Like, I know that financial services pays really well, which is why I'm still in it. You know, money talks. It's like the Amazon thing. I was looking at their Glassdoor. It's like they would only offer me like maybe 20K more, but it's like 20K more. But at my current job, I mean, I like it. They give me like a ton of PTO. Amazon, super cutthroat. They try to fire you, whereas at my current job, they've done everything they can to retain me. So, I mean, the work sucks. I hate the work, but I like everything else about it. Whereas as Amazon sounds like I would maybe like the work, but you never truly like work. That's something I've learned, is that there's no such thing as a fun project. Yeah, when someone is like, if you don't do this, you're gonna get fired, it's no longer fun. But if you do it, we'll pay you some money. That's the nice part. And in my case, they're like, you do it, we'll also give you like just 10 random days of PTO as well on top of your other stuff, and also like national holidays and stuff. Oh, that's pretty good. Let me see. So there's something here. So we grab the scene. We have to duplicate it, but maybe we don't want to duplicate using instancing. Like we want to duplicate the signals, right? So like duplicate the scripts, obviously. Groups doesn't matter. I don't use groups that often. Like groups are really nice when you're working with games. So, you know, if you have like a lot of characters on screen, so you have like the player group, you'll have the enemy group, and then you can subdivide the enemy groups, etc. That's neat. It's very similar to how Unity does it, except I think Unity makes it kind of hard to use the built-in groups because you have to do it in the editor, whereas in Godot you can just do it wherever. Like Unity, if you want to add groups at runtime, you have to implement it yourself, I think. Or did they change it in the more recent versions? But duplicate using instancing. Something about this doesn't seem right. Duplicate using instancing. I don't know what that means. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 7. Okay, let's try 7. So what happens if I do this? So we go here, model. No, this is the wrong thing to test, by the way. Also, we need to get out of here, go back to here, tracking. Did not duplicate using instancing, and then still not sharing any values as well. I wonder if it's not even worth it to do this. Like, that would be really unfortunate. Maybe, like, maybe I need to, like, redesign the entire system. Or maybe it just force you to, like, restrict it to just one window. Like, that's the simplest solution. That makes sense for pretty much all use cases, right? And that also allows me to do something like, you know, if you have multiple windows at the same time, right? This is also a bug, by the way, is that windows don't drag over each other just yet. I guess you would assume that if you press model or maybe tracking again, it would actually pop the tracking back up to be the top window. Window is a more sane option, but multiple does sound nicer. Yeah. See, that's what's bothering. I like the idea of multiples, but this also is kind of strange. Let's not do it with tracking, because tracking does have a runtime cost. So if you do something like this, right? If you were to press bones again, what would you expect? Would you expect bones to pop up? So like this one will pop to the front, or would you expect this to just have another copy of bones? Like either close the window or pop up to the front. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Well, we can do that. We can do that. I think for it, let's add that as a to-do. It's just too complicated right now. I don't have a good solution. And maybe I can have it as an option. So, deferred. I should really put this on like a Kanban board or something. Multiple pop-ups of the same type. Multiple pop-ups of the same UI. Yeah. All right, so we can get rid of this. The cache thing, not necessary, although it would be nice. If needed, we can always go back to it. So let's just revert me, dude. Revert. Yeah, okay. Good enough. And then we need the logger for sure. But this, I guess this can stay as well. Yeah, that's fine. This is fine. Actually, this is fine. Oh, actually, has it been exploding because I forgot the comment out that line? Oh, no. All right, hold on. Hold on. It's possible the multiple duplicates were breaking stuff. All right, is it tracking? I just gotta check. I gotta know. All right, it's not that. All right, well, say goodbye. Yeah, I think that the problem is too complicated to solve right now, and I mean, that's it, right? So let's see. Pop up. So we can always connect these. So we can do something similar like we did before, at least for the pop-ups. So we do pop-up is equal to whatever this is. That's fine. I keep doing Control X when I meant to do Control C. Although realistically, I would want to Control X. Like some cost fallacy to scrap it all? No, not really. That's something I just gotta... You can like unlearn sunk cost fallacy, I guess. Or as long as you're aware sunk cost fallacy is a thing. And then be aware that like... Or be burned enough by sunk cost fallacy enough. It's fine. Right, because I could spend, you know, an entire week trying to get the multi-window thing to work. Or I could just spend today and then just have windows pop up over each other, because that's also a nice feature to have. That's something that does need to work. And then having windows, you know, like you would expect clicking on model again, right? So if you click on model again, you would expect it to pop up to the front. Or possibly even close itself. So I think that's should just do what's expected, I suppose. And they do have an X button. Right, instead of adding a new feature, I can instead try to fix some stuff. That's basically it. And at the very least, I know what I've tried and I know what doesn't work. So the only question at this point is, am I going to remember what I've tried before? And I already know the answer to that is like 90% I'm going to forget what I tried before. I'm going to know I tried something, but I'm not going to remember the exact implementation. And instead of doing the smart thing and adding a note for myself, I'm just going to leave this. That's deferred. I get a new branch on GitHub to remember later? Oh, absolutely not. That would be the smart thing to do. I mean, you make a good point. I should. I really, really should. That's what branches are for. But, I should. All right, you know what? I hate it. I hate you. Why you guys make such a good point? All right, let me push this first though, and then I can just Control Z and get back to it. So, oh, there's also some stuff that needs to go away. Was it in base pop-up? No, it was in tracking. No, this is not tracking. This is tracking. Yeah, this thing. So setup, we don't need setup. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. So we'll push this. Git diff. Actually, what's the status? Git diff. That looks right. And then we add a note to temp cache manager saying that something is gross. That's fine. Okay. So we'll push this. Basically change how pop-ups are created. Add logger to default GUI. That's pretty good. Push that. And then hit this with a really quick Control Z, Control Z. Oh no, Control Z. Yeah, okay. Git check out new branch. Let's see, feature. Or it's not really a feature, it's like fix this. I don't know. I've never really seen anyone really do it like this. They don't usually add like a tag to the whatever they do. I'll call it a reference. Multiple pop-ups. Note. Multiple pop-ups. Doesn't work right now. There we go. Great name, great name. So git commit initial try at implementation doesn't work. Fix up. It's not fix up. What's it called? Amend. Amend later. Origin reference. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. All right, so let's check out back to master. Git check out master. Did I push the master code yet? Yeah, okay. Cool. So let's instead do, when you create a new pop-up, we need to check to see if the pop-up currently exists in the scene. So we can actually use a similar piece of code to what we did before, using the temp cache. It's actually almost the same code. It's actually almost exactly the same code, I think. Right, we'll store a reference to it like this. What am I doing? But instead of creating the pop-up, so it doesn't exist. So this one here. And then also here. So the cleanup is different, right? So the cleanup for this will be, well, we need to move it around. So here, this will be, we'll push the pop-up, the entire pop-up into the cache. And so when that specific pop-up starts to exit tree, then we'll pop it, or we'll clear it from the key value store, from the cache, if you will. Otherwise, because it's in the cache, pop-up, oh, hold on. Add child pop-up, remove this one. So now we just have two possible paths. Pop-up, create pop-up, push it into the thing. Otherwise, our pop-up is now res unwrap. So this is the entire pop-up. And then from here, we can reorder where it is in the scene. Something like that. Right? So everything should still work how it used to work. This will explode. That's good. Trying to assign value a packed scene. Oh, right. There should be pop-up. I see. So model, and then this won't create multiple windows anymore. But now what I need to implement is reordering the nodes so that they display in the correct order. And I should also be giving these names. I don't know why I'm not naming the nodes. So pop-up, create pop-up, name. Well, that should work inline here. Pop-up, name. Well, no, that should happen in pop-up. Pop-up should be naming itself. Name is equal to p name. Yeah, there we go. And so I think a good debugging thing as well is that if you have more than one pop-up of the same type, it'll actually have an at appended or prepended to the name. So that will be a sign that there's an error, which is good. Yeah. So you can just spam buttons, that's fine. So how do I reorder them? That's the question. Because of how Godot does node hierarchies. I suppose. Let me think. So default GUI. This is the default GUI. Default GUI has a VBox inside of it, but it doesn't really do anything with it. Yeah, it just has the menu list, but after that, it doesn't do anything with it. Let me think. So since we know the order, or we know what the initial state is. No, that's so fragile. I was gonna say we can just, since we have the pop-up, we can always just reorder it like so. So we'll do like pop-up or like move child. Pop-up is the child to index position 1. Something like that. I'm pretty sure that will work. So I'm not sure if the hot reload is gonna work. Might not. Yeah, okay. Move child. Moves a child to a different position order among the other children. Since call signals are performed by tree order, changing the order of children might be useful. Yes. I think that's precisely what I want. So if you do, maybe not. Oh, sorry. I did it in the wrong order. So there should be move child, pop up, get child count -1. Yeah, maybe, because it renders in opposite order. Yeah. So you do model, bones, you click on model again. Yeah, okay. Actually, that's not fragile at all. That's actually super duper solid. Because now we're not assuming how many initial nodes we have. Now we just always move it to the end. Okay, well, problem solved. He's done it. See, that's the problem with how I program, is I tend to move really, really quickly, but then if I ever get stuck on anything, I'll tunnel really hard on it. I recognize that happens, but I also admit a fault in that I will not do anything about it unless someone tells me to stop. Because I like the tunnel. I don't know why. All right. Okay, so now we have a different thing where I need to be able to... I would assume, right, if you click on the window title, it would pop to the front. So we can do that as well. We can do something very similar, which is to say we can do like a move to front or on move or hold on. On pop up grabbed. How do I know if a pop up is grabbed? Base pop up. Do I know if you're grabbed or not? Maybe not. Maybe I do. Get close button. Alright, so what is a window dialog inherits from pop up? Pop up has a window title. Sure. So do you have anything special attached? I don't think you do. Window dialog. Do you have a window thing that I can click? So there's no signals attached, which is unfortunate. Could just use a mouse click instead of proper grab. Yeah. The problem is I need to know where the... Like this is a built-in node, so it doesn't actually expose everything to me, which is unfortunate. Or things are only exposed when people ask for them to be exposed. That sounds a bit lewd, by the way. Don't take it that way. I blame English. All right, so okay, so that's your texture button. But then where does this render? So like the texture button, I know what this is. This is the close button, right? But I don't care about that. So we close this, yeah, then you just aren't able to click. But then what is this? What is this? And how do I access it? Because generally, you should be able to access it if it's... Oh, I see what you're saying. On mouse click. No, okay, I get it. I got you. If you click on it at all, it'll move it to the front. So that makes sense. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yes. I had to reread it. That's good catch. Good catch. I completely misunderstood what you were saying at first. Okay. So I'm thinking, how do I want to do this? There's a good way of doing this and a bad way of doing this. I'm checking the window boundaries if there's a click move node. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, where do I want to do this though? I think I want the connection to be here. So on pop up clicked. So the grabber actually refers to this, which is actually somewhat confusing for me. So Godot has a built-in resizer node, but you can't actually use that for this application. So I built my own grabber, my own resizer node. Right, because if you use Godot's built-in resizer, it means that you cannot click on this part anymore. So instead, I've just looked at how Godot implemented it and then copied it into GDScript. Oh yeah, okay. I got you. So we do like func on pop up clicked. So some sort of input event. Unfortunately, you can't pre-filter, so we'll just have to filter here. So if events, if not, events is input events mouse button. Oh, hello, Needle Mouse. How are you? How are you? How goes your game dev journey in Godot? Are you still with it, or did you jump to a different engine? All right, so if it's, we'll just pre-filter. If it's not an input event mouse button, then we don't care. Or not event pressed. So if it's not pressed, we don't care either. Oh, but then we need to... I can pass along the node. Okay, so here we go. Pop up is some sort of window dialog, right? Some sort of control. Some sort of, yeah, some sort of control. Still working on playing some Sonic to get a hold of platforming for my game. Do you like Sonic platforming? I've always felt like Sonic platforming felt really clunky. Like if I had to choose, like I think Sonic platforming always felt kind of weird, right? In terms of going up and down, it's almost like it's like the opposite problem of Metroid. Like Metroid has kind of wonky vertical movement, but it's like really centered around that. Whereas Sonic has, well, that's no. I think my point got mixed up in my head. Basically, Metroid and Sonic have really wonky vertical movement, in my opinion. Or platforming design. Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Yes. For level design, I like Sonic level design for sure. But how it feels to play, a lot less positive on that. I feel like Super Mario World has really good level design, in my opinion. Sonic movement is really good until you stop and try to actually do the platforming. Yeah, exactly. Like I like the speed. When you're going really fast, it feels really good. Basically, it's like a roller coaster ride, and occasionally you have to jump or hit an enemy or whatever, or you hit a spring and then you go up in the air. And I don't know. I've only ever played like Sonic 1. I played the first level many times. And I've also played, what's the Sonic game on the Game Boy? Or was there a Sonic game on the Game Boy? Sonic Game Boy. Sonic Advance? Yeah. No. Isn't there another game? There's like a Game Boy game? I feel like I played a Game Boy game of Sonic. Anyways. On pop-up clicked. So... Well, if it is pressed, I guess we can just do this, right? Move child, pop up, get child counts, -1. So we move it to the last position. And then for every single pop-up that we create, we'll do pop-up, connect. And then there's really only one thing that you can do, which is just listen for GUI inputs, unfortunately. Self on pop-up clicked. And you pass along the pop-up as a parameter, and there we go. I think that might work. Maybe. Don't know. So click on this. That's fine. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. All right, cool. That's neat. Yeah, there we go. It's so easy. But we're doing things that... It feels good when the initial solution just works. Yeah. There are 15 Sonic games on the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, but how about on the Game Boy? I played this on the Game Boy. Well, Game Boy Color. Isn't there a Sonic game? Sonic game, Game Boy. I feel like I swear I played a Sonic game on the Game Boy. I know exactly what it looks like too. If you showed me. Is it this one? Or does this not exist? Is this not real? Or is this like a bootleg? No, that's not it. I know what it would look like. It does not look like any of these though. It might have been a bootleg. It might have been extraordinarily No, it's this one. Sonic Adventure 7. Yeah, this looks familiar. Does this game not exist? Is this not an official Sonic game? Like, this enemy is bringing back memories. But is this not a real Sonic game? That looks so scuffed? Well, yeah. I was a kid. Let me tell you that I was like 5 years old when I played this. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I've never played any of those. I played Sonic 1 on an emulator. Never had a Genesis. I only ever had I had a Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64, GameCube. I remember the GameCube was like, my parents were like, if you get all A's, we'll buy you and your older brother a GameCube. And it's like, all right. That was a lot of fun. All right, so we have not multiple windows. That's still in progress. But at least we have windows reordering themselves correctly now. That's nice. And also they do this. I would like to have multiple windows functioning, but that's just not in the cards because it's too hard. And then of course you just can press escape to hide everything as well. Maybe you could do it like if you right click on the button, it would close it for you. That's not expected, I suppose. All right, let's get out of here. No, that's a bug fix though, at the very least. So what's the diff? So you have the pop-up stuff, and then okay. So everything, most of the functionalities in the default GUI, and then here we just have the pop-up set its own name instead of us having to set its name for it. So git commit. So this is limit pop-ups to one unique. That's not how you spell unique. Unique window. Pop-ups reorder themselves based on button or mouse click. There we go. We'll just send it. There we go. I also just remembered I really should be running the tests. Oh, geez. Oh, no. Where are we? GD native broke. That makes sense. GD native has a tendency to break. Okay, that's fine. It's this one. This test here is so unreliable. I don't know why it just sometimes fails. Or I kind of know why it sometimes fails. Is because when it's generating the GD native stuff at runtime, I think there's a race condition somewhere because it needs time to create the internal config file, something like that. Which is why I actually have this splash screen, right? So we load everything, but we don't actually access them. Whereas here, I need to like wait like 1 frame or something, 1 process frame for everything to finish processing. But I don't know. Fan remaster, basically Sonic 3 and Knuckles with achievements, some added tweaks like the drop dash and a lot of other stuff. I don't remember. I've never played it. I'm assuming it like that has like the targeted, like the Sonic Adventure, like air dash. Like you go into a ball and you lock on and shoot yourself at a target. Is that what you're talking about? All right. Let's check really quickly. Did we pass CI? Continuous integration. Oh baby, we passed CI. And we're even using my own custom CI thingy. How nice. If only because the upstream has not merged my request. Because we do need to use a custom build of Godot when running CI tests. Docker test. We have a few failures, which is expected. Look at that. No, that's the homing attack. Well, I don't... What's the drop dash? I'm not familiar. Yeah, I played through most of Sonic Adventure 2. I've never played the original Sonic Adventure. Isn't the original Sonic Adventures where the very famous Sonic quote is from? What am I fighting for? Or is that Devil May Cry? No, Devil May Cry is like I should have been the one to I should have been the one to fill your heart with light or something. And Sonic Adventure 1 is like, what am I fighting for? In the the fakest voice possible. My plan all along to make you stop going through multi-window rabbit holes so you can work on the Linux stuff. Well, the Linux stuff should work. I think, maybe. My VM is still broken, but I also do not have my stream set up on just my Linux laptop. I really should set up dual booting on this computer, but it's mostly for classic Sonic, but it's going to be Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers is the new game they're working on, I think, right? No, this is the tracking descriptor. This doesn't matter, but let me see. It's OpenCFace. Yeah, OpenCFace. If we're talking about the tracking on Linux, this should just work. All that's required for the end user. Like, I guess I can try to... I can upload something, and then maybe you can test it. Also, have you played new Chinese MMO/gacha game Noah's Heart? What an awful game. It's interesting. It's interesting. It reminds me a lot of Genshin, actually. It's like Genshin if Genshin had more interesting movement options. But also the combat is horrible. Well, it's simultaneously a lot better and a lot worse. So... And the controls overall are hot garbage. Yeah, but let me see if I can whip something together. I don't remember... do I have a Linux build out there? I can't test it on this computer, but I can do this. Because I do have an export template. Or a release template. So this is the... Yeah, this is the release template that I'm using. We'll embed the pack, that's fine. So we want the shaders, we want advanced expression because that's needed for the REPL. Advanced lip sync. I think I include that. I include that, but it doesn't do anything. The REPL, we do need that. And we need all of these. We don't need any flat hub assets or icon styles. Yes, VRM models. Yeah, why not? We actually don't need it. It should be fine. Yeah, most assets though we can take. Entities, duck, yeah, yeah. We want all entities, we want all model stuff, no resources. Screens, we want all the screens, no tests, and we want all the utils. Okay, and then we don't include any other resources. Features, that's fine. Scripts, that's fine. Release. Yeah, export me. So we go to exports. Create folder, Linux, send me, save me. Oh, it's still under OpenCFace GD. You need to bundle the OSF binary. It should just work. It's not bundled into the vpupper binary. It's included as a resource, and then, then it just works from there. Okay, so this failed. So we'll take out embed pack. That might be causing problems, possibly. I think it's unlikely to cause a problem, but you never know. go to exports, Linux. This is broken. Let me re-download an export template. So repositories, Godot. We go to builds. So the Linux stuff should be solid. So I'll download this. It's a, you know, easy breezy 137 megabytes. All right, there we go. Extract to this folder. Well, we'll grab this, move you to my export template thingamajig. So grab this, dev, Godot, release templates. Just slap you into here. Yep. All right, one more try, once more with feeling. Export project, this is VTuber. Save me. I might only be able to do this on... I've generated a release for Linux on Windows before. I don't know what's going on when it fails here. Oh, you know what? It's the lip sync stuff. Okay, well... I guess we can just take it out. It probably won't blow up. I haven't really tried it. I probably should. Actually, is real-time lip sync even in... I don't think I even load it anywhere, so it might be fine. But that appears to be what's causing the problem, maybe. Please. Spin me. Yes, keep spinning. Yeah, okay. And actually, let me try that with Windows as well. Really quickly. So we'll go here, take out real-time lip sync, because I can actually test this on my machine. So, Windows, save me. Take a little bit. That's really fast, actually, on Windows. All right, so Linux, that's fine. Actually, Linux, let's do that one more time. Linux, embed the pack. Embedding the pack is just so much cleaner. The only problem is that embedding the pack sometimes causes like release only errors, which is why I previously did not embed the pack file into the binary. But I think now that I'm not including GD native things into the pack, it should maybe just work, maybe, possibly. All right. So this is the export stuff, blah, blah. We'll grab the most recent version of resources. Delete all of these, slap this into here. Well, actually, don't slap it into here. Slap it into here. This is Windows. Just really quickly. Really quickly. Turn this off. Have my eyes been broken for a while? All right. Run this. It looks okay. Potato mode. Break our necks. Eyes are still kind of freaky, but that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Seems good to me. And then we'll do the same thing. So copy resources, Linux, slap that into there. Resources, then we'll bundle it. Well, not bundle it, we'll archive it. Not archive it, well, I mean, you are creating a zip archive, but no one says we're gonna archive it. This might work, possibly. Was there anything else I was missing? Oh, right, yes. OpenCFace. the entire reason why I didn't do a simultaneous release. Yes. Good job, me. Totally forgot. So we grab this. Just zip that for no reason. Go into resources, extensions, OpenCFace folder. Hold on. I'm thinking. Brain cells are struggling. Copy. Paste. Delete. That's probably fine, right? As long as face tracker, yep, face tracker is here. This thing, hold on, just run me again, because I can't test the Linux one on this machine anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. We're so close. So this is OpenCFace folder because of the hard-coded path dependency, because it needs to go down and then back into models, which is a bit annoying, but I understand why it happens. Was face tracker, so then blah blah. This might need to be changed. So line 276, if it doesn't work, you might need to fiddle with this. But I think it should be fine. Everything else should be all right. Probably. Yeah, okay. So let's grab this 7-zip, add to linux.zip. Give it a little bit. I think compressing Linux files on Windows doesn't work as well. It's not as optimized. I'm not really sure why though. But also, most of the file size is taken up by... Actually, on Linux, most of the file size is actually taken up by Godot. On Windows, most of the file size is taken up by OpenCFace. We're waiting. We're waiting. Just 827 gigs, no big deal. All right, Linux. So we call this vpupper 090 alpha, because we're still missing a bunch of stuff. Linux. And I suppose I should repack the Windows one. Yeah, okay, so now the alphas are actually out of sync, but, you know, whatever. You can fight me. All right, so I'll take out OpenCFace. Because I still have that on my Linux box, my Linux laptop that I compiled it on. Or packed it on, not compiled it. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Update July 31st, 2022. Added Linux release. This is slightly... This version is slightly ahead of the Windows version. Okay, cool. Guess that looks good? Yeah. Send it. Yeah, so check that out. It is beautiful. I do need to re-tag it. Actually, is there can you re-tag it? How do I re-tag a commit? I don't remember. Whatever. I was gonna say use Arch on your virtual machine again, but for some reason an update makes Arch Linux have kernel panics on VMs. Well, have no fear. A Windows update, and I also made a few configuration changes on my end. Now all my VMs are also broken, so. And I haven't had time to go back and figure out why. Yeah, I think it's because I enabled Hyper-V, even though I think Hyper-V is what's required for like Linux VMs anyways. So I'm not sure how I was even running Debian. Yeah. But let's go to Discord. Well, I guess we'll post it. Post an announcement. Everyone loves a good announcement. Because I guess most people who are using this are Linux users, since VCFace does not have a native build. Oh, that was gross. apologize. I did that straight into the mic. Linux alpha for VPopper 090 is up. I haven't actually tested it, but it might work. Sweat. Sweat smile. There we go. You're giving the Linux people what they want. You are the W. What's that mean? I am the W. I'm the Windows. I'm the Bush Jr. Or yeah. I am the very prominent hotel in my city. Win. Oh no, I missed that. Okay. Well, you know what they say. You know what they say. Okay. It was a visual joke only. Yeah. On like games and stuff, if you win or you hyphen win or you dash win is taken, I'll either use team you win like I do on Twitch, or I'll use sometimes you win, which is also pretty good. Like, you win is actually a great name on games, because for some reason, people never take it. It's very commonly an unused name. Like, you lose is usually taken, but you win, not. Way less common for some reason. Anyways, that's going to be it for me for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be live Tuesday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on this once again. Trying to bang out a few more features so I can finally get a real release out. If you want to check out what I just uploaded, I'm assuming that you're interested in this project because you're probably a Linux user. VC Face is kind of a hassle to get working on Linux. Boom. I'll drop a link into chat again. There it is. Or if you're interested in just VTuber software made with Godot, that's also totally valid. You can find all the other stuff I've been working on GitHub. There we go. I'm on GitHub as u-win. I write a bunch of random stuff. So, like OBS WebSocket stuff, verbal expressions, which is a regex helper. I wrote a programming language in Godot for whatever reason. HTTP utilities, the whole shebang. What else? Oh, if you haven't given a follow already, or given the channel a follow already, I highly encourage you to do so. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I have a GitHub, which I just dropped into chat. There's a Discord. Let's find someone to raid. Who's streaming Godot? Who's doing Godot? Go to browse. No one I know. So let's see. Search tags Godot and Gien. So there's me. AE cert. Okay. So someone is making a roguelike tower defense, it looks like, and they're doing it in 3D, so very somewhat uncommon in Godot. So let's send you over to AE cert. Backseating is allowed. Yeah. Give the channel a follow. Check out the application thing that I was working on GitHub. It's free and open source. MIT licensed. Oh baby. Give me stars. That's about it. That's all I'm in it for, baby. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. See you later. Goodbye.